तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतर्षभ पाप्मानं प्रजहिह्येनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्. So this is the 41st shloka. इन्द्रियाणि परण्याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धे परतस्तु सः. एवं बुद्धे परं बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्. इति कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः. Right, lot of disturbances today. Sometimes it happens. Okay, so we were we started with 35th one, Shreyan Swadharmo. Now, having explained all these, how it has to be done, with what attitude it should be done, how you have to surrender, having said all that, now he comes to another concept which he has already mentioned in the second chapter. Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushthitat Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha. That means you must follow what is your Swadharma. Better is one's own dharma. Swadharma means your own dharma. Even though it is imperfect, that is better than following another person's dharma, even though it is well performed. What your Swadharma, that means what you have chosen for yourself. I will tell you what it is. We will repeat that. That is, even if it is not performed perfectly, still it is better than performing someone else's dharma perfectly. And he also says death in one's own dharma is always better than following another person's dharma with fear. That means when you follow someone else's dharma, you will always not be confident. What is the meaning of this? So our Swadharma is what we are. Dharma is act, righteous act, the way we conduct. So way of life, that is dharma, not the religion, or caste. We are very clear about that. So our dharma, as we have already described, depends on our, Krishna has told that it depends on your guna and your ashrama. Ashrama means what stage of life, and your tendencies, your psychology, your attitudes, your belief, based on that you would have chosen. You are good at some skills. Based on that you have chosen a profession. Based on that you have been allotted particular role in the society. So if you have chosen that, then you better do that perfectly. Even if it is imperfect, it's okay. Once you have chosen, you have to be in that dharma only, rather than trying to switch to different. What does it mean? Supposing I am in a teaching profession. My gunas, if you see in the previous shlokas, my gunas, my tendencies would have taken me to that profession. It is not that I would have made some choice, but the force is coming from my guna, my prakriti. It has taken me over there based on my skills, and I am enjoying that. Suddenly if I say I want to follow someone else's dharma because that person is having better remuneration, he is financially better, economically better, so let me switch over. Maybe I am not suited there. Because particularly here, now Arjuna is telling Krishna that I want to become, can I be contemplating and go into Jnana Marga instead of, you only told me that Buddhi Yoga is good. That's how this chapter starts. So he says your dharma is a Kshatriya dharma by profession. So you have been trained, you are skilled, you are proficient in that. And in that, even if you do not perform the best, it appears that you are not performing very well, but The fact that the nature has put you there, it means that you are fit to be there. You deserve that dharma. So therefore perform that with wholehearted involvement. That is the meaning of swadharma. So always we must follow our own, because whatever suits us is already there. And especially after few years being in that profession or of service, if you are not good in that, no, I mean, your mind will be very turbulent. You will not feel satisfied. You will definitely feel like leaving that profession and getting into something else, until you find where you are actually, it matches very well with what we are talking in these days. You should do what you, I mean, your skills and your passion. If you have passion, your skills will be there automatically. Your skills will be there, so your prakriti will take you there. So you will have to do whatever you are good at, and rather than following somebody else. Why? Because once you do that, the society is in harmony. If each person starts following somebody else's, he is not knowledgeable person, but he goes and starts taking lecture. He is not good at delivering the lecture, but he wants to be there. Just, it's not a passion, it's just to try. Somebody has got some recognition, so I want to do. No, first we have to understand what we are good at. So that is the whole explanation given, and once we have chosen that, you better follow that swadharma. Now after that, that is one of the aspect of karma marga. You do well, surrender, perform with full commitment, perform your roles and responsibilities without raga dvesha, and follow your swadharma. Now Arjuna asks, so everybody is following this, everybody knows that they have to do like this. Then Krishna, athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha. Very beautiful question for all of us. When all this is known, anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojita. So Krishna, tell me, what impels a person to commit sin or a crime or mistakes? Why does a person commit sins? We all know we should do like this. Everybody knows, no? Then why? What forces a person to commit sin? And anichanapi, even though they are not interested, even though it is as though something is pushing them. What is that which is pushing them with full force, which makes them commit mistakes, which makes them commit a crime? Very, very beautiful question. So Krishna says, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajoguna samudbhavaha, Mahashano, Mahapapma, Vidyenamiha Vairinam. Vidyenamiha, very, very nice shloka. What is the origin? So, if you look at the still more, if you go deeper, Kama Esha, what is the cause of crime? That is the reason why we are all suffering. We may not have committed crimes, but if at all we suffer, if at all we experience some kind of turbulences, some kind of disturbances in our life, it is our own doing. It is our own doing. It is a karma, isn't it? Whatever we have done in the past or in the present life, whether knowingly or unknowingly, even it could be unintentional. We might not have meant to hurt somebody, but it would have happened as we are performing our karma. Something would have happened. So those repercussions will come back to us as miseries or problems or challenges or so many difficulties. All these are the same. So what in the first instance makes us, any human being, commit those mistakes, or if it is of still higher intensity in a negative way, we call them as crimes. We also commit, there are errors, there are mistakes, as I said, knowingly, unknowingly, intentionally, unintentionally. They are of maybe mild to moderate intensity. Sometimes knowingly, sometimes without control, people commit crimes such as murdering, killing, for wrong reasons. Now Arjuna has to kill people for the right reasons. The same thing, if it is done for wrong reasons, for selfishness, then that becomes crime. So Arjuna is asking, why do people, for example, now Duryodhana, totally adharma. Adharma here I am telling, totally a wrongdoing. He is punishing the Pandavas. He is going against ethics, against morals. So why does it happen? So Krishna says there are two reasons, basic reasons, kama and krodha. Previous session also we have discussed, again we will be discussing, but here in this context he says This is the root of all crime. It is a desire, it is the anger born of Rajoguna. Can you remember what are the other two gunas? One is Rajasika or Rajoguna. Which are the other two? Anybody?
Satvik, Rajasic, Tamasic.
Correct. Satvik. Anybody else has any other answers? Right. Satvik, Rajasic, Tamasic. So Rajasic is the middle one. So he says Rajoguna of great craving, Mahashano, endless, great craving. It will never be satisfied. What? Kama and Krodha, desire and anger. And what is the source? Rajoguna Samudbhavam. Know this as the enemy here. Vidyenam iha Vairinam. These are the two enemies for us. There we said Raga Dvesha are highway robbers, and here see he is using this word. These are the greatest enemies for us, which are there within our mind. These are the two which is compelling. They are born of Rajoguna and they are Mahashano, Mahapapma. Mahakama, Mahashano means of great craving, okay, endless craving. Always it wants, always unsatisfied. It goes on and on, both Kama and Krodha. Mahapapma means they are going to result in great sin. So, Kama is a very tricky thing. It's a desire. So he says, you commit sins because of desires. Then we should not have Kama, we should not have Krodha. Is it possible for us to live like that? Isn't it the desire which is pushing us every day early in the morning to start our work? Isn't it? And can you live without anger? Can you live without anger? Is it possible? Or we should never have any anger? What are your thoughts? No desires, no anger. Can we live like that? Any thoughts on this?
No. We can't. We can't live, but it should be, to some extent it should be.
Okay. Any other? Yes, correct. Any other thoughts on this? Can we live? Supposing there is a child. Yeah, Jayachandra, any thoughts on this?
For me, it should be balanced.
Balanced, yes, very good.
Do not stick up to one thing.
Correct.
It should be balanced.
It should be balanced, yes. Use it whenever. So that's a very right thing. So Kama, Krodha, they are born of Rajoguna. Rajoguna is the one which is always active. It is better than Tamasika. It is active guna. It is ambitious. Greed is an extension of that, but it wants to achieve something. It is always multitasking, too much of stress, over ambitious. All these are features, but it is an active form, unlike Tamasika guna. But what happens is during that activity, it crosses. If it is not controlled, then it will cross the limits, and those Kama, Krodha are part of existence of Rajasika. If Rajasika is a born of Raja, probably. So if Raja doesn't have a desire to protect his people, or have a boundary, or acquire other kingdoms, or get angry when people commit mistakes, and he's not going to do his duty properly. So anybody for that matter, it has to be there. When a child is there, for example, we cannot say don't have desire. If you say no Kama, no growth will be there. They have to grow. Unless if you are very contented, that means it may take you down to Tamasika Vritti. It may take you down. You will become lazy. Unless you are, relaxing with contemplation, Atmadhyana, spirituality, then you go towards Sattvic. But most of the times you will just slip down to Tamasic. So, Kama, Krodha are essential. But you should know when to say no to Kama and Krodha. So, it is required, because we have to live in harmony, and we cannot we cannot possess everything in this world. You cannot have, all possessions all by yourself. There should be sharing, there should be caring. So you have to have a controlled or restrained Kama. When you have to use, you should use. When you should not use, you should not use. 4 Purushartha I told you last time in Bhagavad Purana we say, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Their dharma is following ethics. Artha, Kama, Moksha is a Purushartha. For a ordinary householder, These are, so kama within the ethics is very much allowed. But when it goes beyond a limit, then what happens is, if it becomes uncontrolled, if you entertain, so how, um, why they have to be controlled, is that mahashano mahapapma. If you satisfy a desire, then what happens is it will not stop. We had one debate when we were in second MBBS. The best way to control desire is to yield to it. No, it will never happen like that. If you yield, then it will ask for one more. Again you satisfy, again it goes on spreading like fire. Bhaga 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 uritude. It is like adding fuel to the fire. If you yield to that and if you satisfy, that means you are encouraging desires. You are making them grow more and more. Then what happens is, actually the purpose of human life is to go towards, evolution, controlling them. On the contrary, if you start entertaining these desires, they will go far away from this path. They are going miles away, because more and more you are nourishing them, more and more they distance. Your mind takes your buddhi, mind, indriya, everything they will take you away. Take you means your growth, development. So why we should control desire is that more you encourage, more it takes away. Rather use it very judiciously. Where it should be used, it should be used. Having good desires is good, but excessive desire, even if it is good, is not appropriate. Excessive desire is not good. Being a rajasic, let me not talk about being a rajasic, in a rajasic vritti, how best you can use these as tools, kama and krodha. Very well, ambition, no? I want to be recognized. Okay, let you first start. Then you can use this desire, just divert them towards service. Divert them towards good deeds. Rajoguna means a person has extraordinary potential to work actually. If he can divert towards better things, he is energetic, he is a good leader, he can command, he can order people, his anger can do so many things, then use it for better work for the society. That way a Rajoguni person can use kama and krodha towards the betterment of society. So that's a very useful point Swami Ranganathananji says. And then what happens is, as he does in this way, he will rather become more and more sattvic. How he can become sattvic? Initially he will start using his energies to build orphanages or hospitals or something. As he does them, if he tries to take care of the service mentality always, then he will start developing a liking towards God or towards the consciousness, towards super consciousness, and he comes to know that this work is not mine, it is done by him, I am just an instrument. If he starts getting that, then nothing like it. And that is what we consider Ratan Tata and all those, they started with Rajoguna only. Then they become more charitable, they give lot of donations, take care of the poor, take care of the cancer patients. It started from this Rajoguna, the same kama, the same krodha, but diverted in the rightmost direction. So how beautifully the same Prakriti is working in favor of people, in his favor. It is going in his favor towards his evolution. It just needs little bit of awareness and diversion towards the right things. So because if you don't control, as we said, it will lead to an uncontrolled it starts spreading like fire, number one. And second thing is, there are sister concerns of kama and krodha. What are those sister concerns when we say kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsara? 6 enemies will come out of these 2. They are just born, they are just waiting, they are hidden. They are hidden. And the minute you start encouraging the desire, if it is not diverted in this way, then what happens? This is one way of diversion. Let the person become engaged in the service. if he gets exposed to some spiritual people, I mean, not only he, we are all in the same, most of us are rajogunis only. Or if we can think of diverting everything, all our sense organs, in some good work, like as I said, do dana, listen to good things, go always watch good things, use the same sense organs, indriyas, for in a different way. So that way we can divert, we can use the same things in the for the betterment, and we can become more sattvic or service mindedness. If not, then if the other way, if you start encouraging these desires, then what happens is you will develop, because if the desires are fulfilled, then it leads to more desire, that becomes lobha or greed. It becomes a greed. You become very greedy, always possessive. I want everything. Multi-crore buildings. We have seen, no, all great people in this country and worldwide, how they are always interested in accumulating the wealth. If you remember, in one of the class I said, Krishna tells Pandavas to go and see some surprises happening which are indicative of Kali Yuga. One of them, I think Nakula, he goes and sees there are 5 wells, 4 of them are overflowing with water, the middle one is dry. What does it indicate? He comes and asks Krishna. Krishna says it indicates in Kali Yuga, people will become so wealthy, filthy rich, but they fail to see that there are hungry mouths to be fed. They do not want to spend that money, but they keep accumulating wealth or gadgets or possessions or car or bungalows or multiple sites or everything. We are seeing, no, some rich, very rich people in this country, extraordinary wealth, the way they perform the functions or marriages of baba. That kind of people are also there. So if you do not take care of karma, it leads to that, it leads to greed, then karma, then and if it is fulfilled, it leads to greed. If it is unfulfilled, it leads to anger. Whoever is coming on the way, khatam karo usko. Whoever is coming on the way, that's what happens. That's what we watch in the movies. Movies are based on the true stories, isn't it? So, and there are facts also. So krodha, kama, lobha, krodha, moha means next it will come, that you will not see anything, nothing you can see, it will just cover it up. You will what I should say, it covers as a wheel, and you will not see the things as it is. So in that moha, you will perform all wrong actions. So kama, lobha, krodha, moha, mada is ella nandu, nandu. Mada, moha, kama, krodha, matsara. Last one is matsara. Highest, the topmost gold medalist is matsara, jealousy. Anger and matsara, these are the highest, worst enemies actually. If the jealousy creeps in, because more and more you are fulfilling your desires, no, you will start comparing yourselves with people who are in the market of the same status. You want to acquire that. If you don't acquire that, you will become angry, you will perform wrong actions, and you will boil in jealousy until you attain that. Once you grow there, then you compare with others in that level. Allige hodva mattondu. You have got multi-storied building, you want multiple buildings, you want to own that. Swiss account you want apartments in the foreign land, in all the globally you want to be popular. All that will start. Everything will come. All the root causes uncontrolled karma. Uncontrolled karma. Just little bit of diversion would bring, it would make the things so much better for ourselves and for others, for the society. The same wealth, if you distribute for education, for health, for the starvation, for nutrition, imagine what a beautiful nation or what a beautiful society would it be, if everything is shared so well. Not many have this desire to donate. Even on the 10 rupees kodbekadru, people think twice, even though they all are not willing to donate. I mean, donate means to the deserving people, I'm saying, because these days we don't know, but still, so this is how kama, krodha will destroy a person, but there is a way out by diversion, and it is essential that we control because if it is uncontrolled, buddhinashat pranashyati, there is a shloka, no? Sangat sanjayate kamaha, kamat krodho vijayate, krodhat bhavati sammohaha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. So root cause of vinasha is kama. If you don't control that longing for those possessions, desire will come. Desire will lead to anger. If it's not fulfilled, then anger will lead to a wheel that will buddhinasha. In anger, you, even though whatever you have learnt, whatever good behavior you have got, everything will go, and with that pranashyati, a man loses everything in a fit of anger. So this is the, I mean, everybody talks about anger, but anger is required, but it should be controlled, it should be restrained. Let's not make zero karma, zero anger, but let us make it controllable, and so that control should come. How it should come, we will see. Kama, krodha, because these are emotions which have to be restrained. So how to restrain? One is bhakti, another one is our own effort. Use restraint. There are Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. Next class I will discuss that. So yama, niyama, pratyahara, very beautifully he describes. Next class I will start with that. So next shloka is Dhumena vriyate vahnihi yatha darsho malena cha yatholbena vruto garbha tatha tenet amavritam. Oh my God. As the fire is covered by smoke. When there is smoke, the smoke will not allow us to see the fire. We can only see the smoke. And when the mirror is covered by dust, we cannot see our reflection. We know there is a mirror, but we cannot see our reflection. And the embryo is covered by the womb or in the amniotic sac. Similarly, the reality is covered by that rajas. Rajas means kama, krodha. So these will cover the reality, the knowledge. A person may be really good. Everybody has that divinity, everybody has divinity. Everybody is knowledgeable. Everyone has got very good spirit. But what differentiates from person to person? In some person they are totally worldly. ಬರೀ ಆಸೆಗಳು, ಇದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದೆ, ಬರೀ ಇದೆ ಆಸೆಗಳು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅನ್ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ಡ್ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸು. That will cover up. He is also very wise, he or she, extremely wise. But he is flooded. That means his mind is in that level, in that Rajasika is predominant. So his knowledge gets covered. Similar to these examples. There will be a fire, but the smoke is so much that you cannot see a fire. There is a mirror, you want to see a reflection, but there is dust on that. So it's covering. He is giving an example. Krishna is giving. And there is an embryo, but you cannot see the embryo, fetus, because there is an amniotic sac. Similarly, the knowledge gets totally covered. That means it will not allow. What is the meaning of this? Knowledge means what? Knowledge means knowledge or jnana or the reality of that person or the true nature, true identity. That means which is always happy, reflecting and very sattvic, more above sattvic. All that gets covered. The minute you start reducing your desires, going inward, diverting towards positive things, diverting towards selfless activities, more and more you will start manifesting the divine qualities. That is the meaning. More and more you will start manifesting the divine qualities. So it is just making a choice of going towards the other, whichever is good. I mean, it gives lot of peace of mind, but we must be always aware of this, because we are likely to have a fall at any point of time, and that is a thing. All of us are ordinary individuals who are making an effort, but if there is no awareness, it will just carry us, it will just deviate. So we should be aware during the day also. Whenever we want to take up some assignment, how best I can deliver in the larger interest. That is the bottom line. If we start remembering that again and again, along with bhakti, I told Krishnana nenedire Krishna Krishna anta ನೆನೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾ, self effort and remembering God. If these two are combined, I am sure that our desires and everything will automatically, they will wither away. Sri Ramakrishna tells, as the tree grows, the small twigs, they will wither, they become dry and they wither, and it grows to a big height. So these are all our samskaras which have come with us. So with our effort and with surrender and with bhakti, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಡು. ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನಾಳೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಎವ್ರಿ ಥ್ರೂ ಔಟ್ ದ ಡೇ ವಿ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ನೋ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ leaving the house or becoming any sannyasis or something. It is just for our own betterment we should do. So next shloka he says, आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिण कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पूरेण अनलेन च. So knowledge is covered by this andre kama krodha rajoguna. Knowledge is covered by this. Avritam jnanametena jnanino nityavarina. It is a constant enemy of even the wise. Even the wise people, they have already become wise now. They have attained some spiritual progress or evolution, but for them also it can become it is subdued. Very difficult to take it away from the root. It will be there. Even a small fraction can just come up like a it can just flare up. So even it's a constant enemy of the wise also. It is like an unappeasable tushpurena, unappeasable fire in the form of a desire. So this rajoguna, it will cover this knowledge and it will remain there. It is a constant enemy. Constantly you will have to struggle. Your effort should be consistently there. In other words, if we don't bring the positive thoughts, that will occupy. Swami Sarvapriyananda has given a very beautiful example previously. What he says is, there was a couple, exactly the same example I am quoting. There was a family who lived in some other city, and in their native they had built an apartment, and they have not visited that apartment for some time, but they own it. Then after a year or two, they have just locked it. Some relative wants to go and stay there. They have got transferred. So these people will say, we have an apartment, it's empty, why don't you go and stay there? So when they go and take the keys and go there, they find already somebody is there, and they are thugs. They come and they push these people. They say, this is our house, we own this house. Such things have happened in Bangalore also, encroachment of sites and ಮನೆ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡೋದು ಈ ಥರ. ಸೊ that means these people have not visited that place for 2 years and suddenly they go there. What Swamiji says is that if you want that your house should be kept in a good condition, you should keep visiting. Similarly, if your mind is not occupied by positive thoughts, higher thoughts, which will keep the desires away, selfish desires I'm saying, you should bring something to fill it up. If not, this will come. It's waiting to occupy. What? The selfish desire, the krodha, kama, lobha, everything is just waiting. If you do not bring all the positive thoughts, these will just rush in. And therefore he says nitya vairina. It's a constant enemy. They are always there outside your house called mind. So if you don't, you should not let them inside. Why? How you should not let them inside? By substituting with high intense thoughts, high vibrations, positive thoughts, always thinking about something higher, always with love and opposite qualities, you can say opposite qualities, matsara, moha and all that come with knowledge. Moha means delusion, ignorance. Bring it with knowledge. Read Bhagavad Gita, chanting you do, singing you do, talk to good people, keep the company of good people, read good books. So if you don't do that, then they will enter. And you can observe this. Sometimes our mind becomes very low, isn't it? Sometimes you start thinking or you get angry, you start shouting at your own people, you don't have control on your words, then you will regret, then you will say, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that. But what made it happen? Because in somewhere during the day or during some days of the week, we have lost control, we are not remembering God, or we are not remembering good things. So it will yield. So again you should come back. So that is how it says dushpurena analena cha. If not kamarupena, this desire will catch fire, unappeasable fire. So it is nitya vairina, eternal enemy. So we must come out. So you remember, kama krodha are rajasika guna. Moving towards sattvika guna, automatically, as I said, it withers, it just goes away. So as I said, we must turn ourselves towards divinity. Every soul, we know that in our own mind and our own body or in our own this thing, there is a divinity, Jivatma, which is nothing but it is Paramatma trapped in our ahankara, buddhi, manasu, with ignorance. The minute we realize, then we manifest and we become one with the Atma. So this kind of thoughts, this kind of manifesting the divinity is going towards the path of sattvikata. That will automatically take care of the rajasika guna and krodha. So therefore we must always try to divert and not keep quenching the thirst of desire. It will only get inflamed like fire. The Upanishads say it is like a fire into which butter is poured. That means you are adding fuel to this fire. So that is the meaning of this shloka. Then we come to the next one. Again, Indriyani mano buddhihi asyadhisthanamuchyate etaihi vimohatyesha jnanam avritya dehinam. Now he says, where does it reside? This desire and this anger, where do they reside in the mind? Let us be little subtle in our approach and understand, which we have already discussed. Indriya, the sense organs, the mind and the intellect are said to be its abodes. Last time, if you remember, I said Manassu, Indriya, Manassu, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. These are the hierarchies. So here he is combining that, mainly sense organs, Indriya, then the mind and the Buddhi. Okay, he's combined that intellect as Chitta, Ahankara, everything. Of course, Chitta, Ahankara is little between the Buddhi and the Atma. But right now he is restricting to sense organs, the mind and intellect. These are the abodes where anger and the desire resides. Are you all with me? Is it going little? I'll try to simplify this. What is Indriya? Indriya is our eyes, ears. Okay, so here lies the ase. ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಈ ಸೀರೆ ಉಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೀರೆ ಉಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕಿನ್ is one of the indriya. So the skin wants to be satisfied, so it wants to wear good saree, it wants to have physical relationship. So this is how the indriyas will they will attract. And then eyes want to see always good things, good movies, good people, good very pleasant things only. So always these indriyas, as we have discussed, they are all in the something good, something bad. Bad I will avoid, good I will take. Always I want good. So indriya, here lies the desire, always to see the beautiful things. And the manas, it mind above these indriyas. It is nothing but one of the indriya only. We have 5 jnanendriya, 5 karmendriya. Jnanendriya means these sense organs which will perceive. Karmendriya is which will act. If you see medically, the afferent is stimulus and efferent is what we act. How in response to that, we see something nice, we go and approach. Beautiful fruits, flowers are there, we want to buy. So this is indriyas. And mind is processing and conditioning and performing all this. So mind along with these indriyas, here comes the desire. Now if it remains only till this, something is attracting you, the mind says let's go, you go there. Up to this level it's okay. But if buddhi is a discriminatory. Buddhi says, hey, no, it's time, we need to go home and cook, children are waiting, you cannot go and chit chat anta buddhi helidre, if you listen, that free will is there, if it listens, something is warning you and says no, I will go home, not this time. Somebody is saying let's party for some more time, let's sit and chat for some more time. So anything for boys and girls, anything it could be. So if the buddhi, whatever buddhi is saying, if the mind listens, that means your mind is under control. At least 3 times out of 3 times, twice you listen, once you don't, still the buddhi is under control. If buddhi also starts manipulating, buddhi is actually discriminatory. But if buddhi also is not well developed, it will say, no, it's okay, you also need time, what is there, they will eat something, today you go, tomorrow you go, day after you go, there is no control. Then sarvanash. So ase, uncontrolled desire, means even your buddhi is also totally corrupted. your sense organs, your manas, your mind, and your intellect, all are corrupted with desires. So it lives there, a person in the same buddhi, the part of that buddhi is of free will. If it starts cultivating, if it starts working, no, it should not be there. I think I should get up early and walk. No, so one mind says no, let's sleep. There's no need to get up and go. There's no hard and fast rule, you should go on time ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನೋ ಗೆಟ್ ಅಪ್, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ವಾಕ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫಿಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಆಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪವರ್, ಇಸ್ಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪವರ್ is nothing but mind control, free will. All that willpower itself is this in the right direction. If you have a strong willpower, that means you have controlled the mind. So the asegalu, the origin or the abode, where do they live? They live in the sense organs which are attracting. They live in your mind. They also live in your buddhi. As long as, if it is not controlled, they can capture the entire thing and take you to papa, what Arjuna asked. They will lead you to commit sins, to commit crimes, because there is no control and it is going haywire, and it will mostly be selfish. The mind will draw you towards selfishness, self-centered, all derogatory things, all lower things. So that is the nature. It is designed like that. The same tools, the same sense organs, the same mind, the same buddhi, you divert them. Haath diye kar daan re. I told you, Kabir Das tells, no, you do dana with your the same hands. Walk towards the temple, walk towards the hospital, walk towards the seva, walk towards the orphanage, walk towards good things, old people. So use the same jnanendriya, karmendriya, train your mind again and again, use your buddhi, then it is the other direction. So therefore he says they are staying there. Etaihi, these three things, no, vimohayati eva jnanam avritya dehinam. Dehinam is this body. So again he says these sense organs, mind, intellect, are said to be its abodes. Through these it dilutes this soul. Dilutes the soul means dilutes your entire covers up the jivatma. That means it doesn't manifest. So that is the meaning. Now Upanishads nalli Nachiketan story bartade. We had this Nachiketa story in our curriculum also. Nachiketa is a young boy. His father is performing a yajna, and in that yajna he has to give dana. So yajna, dana, tapas, these are the three important things for a ordinary human being to reach higher spiritual path. Yajna means, as I told you, they used to perform homa havana avaga. Now karma itself is yajna. Dana is charity, vidya dana, dhanadana, shramadana, any form. You give charity, you work, physical dana, or you give money, dhanadana, or vidya dana. We are all teachers, so teaching or training or teaching some slum people, students, or something like any of this form you do dana, any form you do, and any work you do as a yajna. And tapas is like very strong, well restrained activity, which will make you sacrifice few things to reach that goal. Tapas, that should be developed in the mind. These are the three expectations Krishna tells in the future chapters also. So here his father is doing a yajna, homa havana madbittu, he wants to give a dana. In that dana he gives one brahmana, he gives a cow which is very old, godana. That time godana means you give a cow so that one family is taken care completely, that family sustains because of that cow, because it gives milk, it gives a calf, that calf can be sold to somebody, they get money and whole family will sustain. So brahmanarige godana kododu anta shrestha anta. Those days it used to be, even today we give. So but how, you should be very genuine. This father gives a very frail, old, non-performing cow which is about to die. He gives that cow to some brahmana. Nachiketa, his son, is a very knowledgeable, very principled fellow, young fellow. He sees that, he says this is not done, and then he goes on troubling him. Appa, you give me also in dana. Nanigari kodtiya? Whom are you giving me as dana? Whom are you giving me? Purposely to irritate him. He is a very clever fellow. So his father gets very angry. Go, I am giving you to Yama anta. Yama antandre he has to die. So Nachiketa just falls there and his Atma Sukshma Sharira goes to Yamaloka. So they say in the Upanishad it is said he stays there for 3 days and then 3 or 4 days in the Yamaloka, and then Yama is not there, and after that he comes and he says, I see that you are a very knowledgeable person, Hange I have heard about you, ask me any boons. Andaga he asks him about life after death, which reluctantly Yama says. But in that a very profound truth has come. He says this body, he talks about similar things what Bhagavad Gita has told, but the analogy given is very beautiful. The origin of this analogy comes from this Katha Upanishad. So there he says this body is like a chariot. The chariot has got horses. So these horses have reins. There is a charioteer and there is a owner who is sitting in the chariot. So this body is compared to such a chariot where the horses are sense organs. These are the distractions, sense organs. 5 horses. They all want to go in one direction each, looking for green pasture. So the eyes want to, hearing something, they want to go there. Ears want to, the ears say go this way. The tongue says some good food is there. Itara. All the sense organs are compared to ears, eyes, nose, skin and tongue, taste sensation. So they all go in different direction. But the mind, the reins are in the mind. Reins are in the mind, which is controlled by the charioteer. So mind, sense organs, charioteer is like is nothing but the intellect or the buddhi. So this buddhi, if it controls those reins, then the horses will be directed towards one direction, and this control, it gets more energy than you release it. Control gets more energy. That means we need to discipline our mind. The discipline, whatever, getting up at the right time, following the circadian rhythm, eating at the right time, doing the physical exercise, meditating at the right time, controlling our speech, being silent most of the times, not unnecessarily talking and not unnecessarily doing unnecessary work. All this is restraint of senses, both Jnanendriya and Karmendriya. Who is doing this? Buddhi is telling the mind. Mind is only controlling, no. Something says, some nice food is there, this one wants to go, body wants to go, says no. Buddhi is telling mind, don't go. So that Buddhi is the chariot. And who is the passenger like a king? That is the Atma, soul. It is enjoying that. But control is, it has told this is how you have to go. And the charioteer has to control. Chariot is the body. So chariot has no value. That means body has no value. It's all controlled by the mind and sense organs and buddhi. Now we'll apply this. See, today mind-body medicine has become a very popular thing. Whether we like it or not, the body has to be, the chariot has to be oiled, wheels and all, everything has to be in proper shape. So physical activity, everything is correct. But if you go beyond that, it is a mind which is playing a major role in both mental illness and the physical illness. So when the buddhi controls that, everything will be in order. So the training that buddhi is very much required, and it is not one-time training, it is regular training. It is regular training. Just as they say, Swami Sarup Priyananda uses one more analogy for this. He says that the elephant listens only to the mahut or that person who takes care of that elephant. Why it is like that? Because every day that mahut, the person, the caretaker, he is making him learn, hitting, bringing him under control. So he has conditioned the elephant that if you don't perform this, you are going to get a beating. So it performs and it listens only to the mahut. So therefore, our mind listens to our own intellect, which has to be trained and tamed. It has to be trained and tamed, and that is how then our chariot. So in Katha Upanishad there says, you should know where your chariot is going. This chariot has to go on this great spiritual path. Then only you will be free from suffering. It's not that, it will not give overnight results, but definitely it will give us kind of solution which is permanent, which is very permanent. This morning I was having some chat with somebody. What happened? Always I have this anxiety. So that anxiety will be there forever. What is the cause? This has caused me anxiety. So that problem gets solved. Then something else will come. That will get solved. So the situations are not permanent. So as long as situations are normal, you don't have anxiety. When the situation get worse, again you have anxiety. That means you are dependent on the situations for your mental health. No. If we work out on our intellect and our own approach towards that anxiety, that means we are developing a resistance. It is like vaccination. COVID vaccination, COVID bandra barli. 3 doses, 2 doses, bandra barli. Why do we take that 2-3 doses? Because the antibody should be in that level, isn't it? So similarly, when we do repeatedly, we train our mind regularly with japa, meditation and all, then your immunity will be such that even if that anxiety, source of anxiety is there, I am not disturbed. So that is how our cause of misery is this only. Say why we commit mistakes. Now you understand? We commit mistakes because our mind is not under control. Why mind is not under control? It is yielding to desires only. It has become a puppet in the hands of these distractions. No, control it. When you control, you have so much energy so that you can withstand any kind of pressures or challenges or whatever. So the best way to de-stress ourselves is desire control. Best way to de-stress is to restrain ourselves from distractions. Not that we should not enjoy, we should enjoy. Otherwise it will have a rebound effect. Backfire it will be. Too much you will start doing. No, it should not be like that. But a controlled desire should be there, and we must understand, we must be aware of where it is starting from. So last 2-3 shlokas. Therefore he says, Tasmat Tvamindriyanyadau Niyamya Bharatarshava Papmanam Prajahi Enam Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. He says, controlling the senses is the first step, Arjuna. Controlling the senses. Tasma, therefore, Bharatarshava, the great Bharata person of Bharata race, controlling the senses is that is the root cause, and kill this sinful factor. Kill this sinful factor. That means the attraction by the indriyas, which will destroy the knowledge and realization. That is the greatest enemy. Uncontrolled desire. Will not call it as desires. We'll say uncontrolled desire is the enemy. It is the one which is killing our knowledge and realization. There are two parts here. Jnana, Vijnana. Jnana means knowledge. We are understanding. No, this is the knowledge. Vijnana means experiencing this. Experiencing means to some actual experiencing is the manifestation that is highest, nirvana or moksha, whatever. But at one stage I will tell you what is realization is. Whatever we have learnt now, we must, if we become aware and if we are able to control, there is something which is going against our wishes, okay, and then we try to against our wishes. We can live without that. We can live. It is not essential. But I wanted to be in this way. It's going against my way. So I can choose to react or not react. I am conditioned all these days that whenever I see this, I will shout, I will show my anger. Now being aware, this anger is not good. It's not necessary. Let me control anta. If you become aware and if you abort that anger, if you just abort it as soon as it appears, just say no, this time I'll observe, I'll keep quiet, I'll not react anta control madkondre, that means it is Vijnana. Experimenting, experiencing, then you will say, good, I have been able to control this reaction. This is my first step. Now I'll keep doing this again and again. Over a period of time you will feel, I used to react so violently for this, now I have control. This I am telling from my experience because I am also prone for anger, reaction, everything. And so this is one part of realizing. Knowing is different. Putting it in practice and experiencing that is Vijnana. Alright, so that is what he says. This is one you have to control anta. Then he says, again he comes to Indriyani Paranyahuhu Indriyebhyaha Param Manaha Manasastu Parabuddhihi Yo Buddhehe Parasastu Saha. He is talking about organization of the mind, which we have discussed. Sense organs are actually superior to the body. Paranyahuhu. And the mind is superior to sense organs. Body is nothing. Body will keep obeying. Tale ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ ನೀವೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರೋ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾಪದ್ದು. Indriyani, the sense organs, very powerful. We are thinking eyes, ears, and all. How much is there in eyes? How much is there in ears? Oh my God. So they are very, very superior to the body. Mind is superior, enjoying. Mind is superior to sense organs. And buddhi, or the intellect, is superior to the mind. And beyond buddhi is the free Atman. All this, no? Sense organs, body first lowest, then sense organs, then mind, then buddhi. Beyond buddhi is the Atman. Up to buddhi, and then comes the ahankara, and all that is prakriti. Okay, apara prakriti. If you go to buddhi, chitta, no, it's called apara prakriti. Beyond that is para prakriti. That is para prakriti, higher one. This is apara prakriti. Beyond prakriti is the paramatma. Beyond prakriti, beyond all this is Atman. He is untouched. Our effort should be to go there. But unfortunately, to reach that state, we have to go inward and focus on ourselves than correcting the whole world. Let me correct myself. Where is my Indriya going? Why is my desire like this? Can I live without this? Can I put up with this? Can I let go? ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ it starts moving upwards. Your intellect becomes very strong, and if repeatedly the intellect turns inwards and keeps going connecting towards Jivatma, then more and more become efficient in restraining our Indriyas. So manasastu parabuddhihi. So this is the organization. Now one more, this one is there actually. This is last two shlokas. This is 42nd. Then we have the last shloka for today. Evam buddhehe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Thus, last shloka, knowing that reality which is superior to buddhi, knowing this and restraining the self by the self, that means the lower self by the higher self, destroy. Atmana means the lower self, that is manobuddhi. So restraining this by the higher self, destroy, O mighty arm, that unseizable enemy in the form of kama, or unrestrained sensual desire. Unrestrained sensual desire. So he also calls it as unrestrained desire. Desire is okay, but unrestrained. So he says restraining the self by the self, and that means going towards the awareness, towards Atma. One way, as I said, aham brahmasmi chidananda rupam shivoham shivoham, we have chanted that. So always in that, last week also we said adhyatma chetasa, keep your mind always in that spiritual abode, sthita prajna, going towards this. This is one approach. The other approach is controlling this lower by bhakti. Just keep chanting God's name. According to Bhagavad Purana, if you develop an unconditional love towards God, unconditional bhakti towards him, surrender all this indriya manasu buddhi ninagarpane anta heli, and involving all our sense organs in some service to others, then definitely we will reach we will be able to overcome this shatru called kama. And once we overcome that shatru consistently, by consistent efforts, then automatically the divinity reflects in us. It will start manifesting in us. So that should be our effort. So that is for today, and that completes chapter 3. And we are going a little in depth, therefore we go slowly and make it I make an attempt to make it relatable to us, so that it becomes a kind of drilled in our mind. I hope you are all okay with that. So any questions or any